One night, after a long, exhausting day, I was sitting alone at home contemplating a big question. I picked up my phone and opened the chat window. I wrote a message, then read it over and over again. I erased it and rewrote it several times. Eventually, I decided not to send it. Am I really ready to say these words? This question might sound familiar to you. How many times have you wondered, how do I express my feelings to someone I love? Will they understand me? Will they think I'm too emotional or worse, weak? Perhaps, like me, you've experienced the fear of rejection or the anxiety of saying the wrong thing. 1. Why are so many of us afraid to express our emotions? The reality is, many of us are terrified of expressing our feelings in romantic relationships. Why? Maybe it's the fear of rejection, or the worry that the other person won't understand us. Perhaps we're afraid that we'll be perceived as overly emotional or needy. But here's the truth. There's nothing more powerful in a relationship than being vulnerable and expressing how you truly feel. I remember the first time I told someone I cared about exactly how I felt, without hesitation or fear. Not only did I receive a positive response, but I also felt a profound sense of freedom and lightness inside me. Expressing your emotions isn't a weakness. It's a sign of inner strength. For example, when you tell someone you love them for the first time, it can feel like you've just shared a piece of your soul with them. It's an act of courage. And as scary as it might feel in the moment, it's one of the most liberating things you can do for yourself and the relationship. When we learn to speak our truths, we build deeper connections that go beyond surface-level interactions. But there's one truth I've come to realize. Any relationship built on anything but honesty won't last. 2. How do we confront the fear of intimacy? Fear of intimacy is one of the biggest barriers in relationships. How many of us have experienced the panic that sets in when a relationship begins to get deeper? The fear that if we get too close, we'll become vulnerable. The fear that if we reveal too much of ourselves, the other person might reject us or even take advantage of our openness. These fears can prevent us from truly being ourselves in a relationship, and that's when we start to feel disconnected. But here's the hard truth. No relationship can grow without real intimacy. I remember when I first started a relationship where I was deeply interested in the other person, but I was terrified of revealing too much. I thought that showing too much of myself would make me seem needy or insecure. But as time passed, I realized that the more I allowed myself to be vulnerable, the stronger the relationship became, and the more comfortable I felt in my own skin. True intimacy means allowing yourself to be seen and loved, flaws, fears, and all. Real intimacy goes beyond just physical closeness. It's about emotional vulnerability, sharing your inner thoughts and experiences, and allowing someone to witness your true self. And when you allow someone else to do the same, it creates a bond that's almost unbreakable. The fear of intimacy can be paralyzing, but embracing it can transform a relationship into something profound. 3. Why should we view relationships from a new perspective? When we enter into a relationship, we often expect everything to just work out on its own. But relationships need more than just time to grow. They need effort, attention, and adaptability. People change over time, and so do relationships. Think about it. If you stay stagnant in a relationship, expecting your partner to fulfill all of your needs without putting in the effort to nurture your own growth and theirs, things can become stale. I remember a time in my life when I was in a relationship where things seemed to be getting monotonous. At first, it felt like everything was perfect. But over time, I realized we were stuck in a routine. It wasn't that we didn't care about each other. It was that we weren't growing together. A healthy relationship isn't just about being comfortable with each other. It's about pushing each other to evolve and improve. It's about exploring new experiences, stepping outside of what you already know and finding new ways to connect. A relationship that grows together remains strong. Healthy relationships require flexibility, an openness to change, and a shared commitment to evolving. It's important to reassess where you are in the relationship regularly and take steps to ensure you're both still moving forward. Growth doesn't happen by staying in the same place. It happens when you allow yourself to change, try new things, and face challenges together. 4. How do we learn from our mistakes? Mistakes happen in every relationship. Sometimes we say the wrong thing or react poorly to something our partner does. It's a natural part of being human, but here's the thing. We have the power to learn from these mistakes. I recall a time when I reacted harshly to something my partner said. It was an emotional outburst, and in the moment, I wasn't thinking clearly. But as soon as I cooled down, I realized I'd made a mistake. That moment of self-awareness taught me a valuable lesson. The key is to take responsibility for your actions, learn from them, and avoid repeating the same patterns. Instead of letting mistakes define you or your relationship, use them as opportunities to grow. Mistakes don't have to lead to failure. They can be the stepping stones to a stronger relationship. In my case, after that incident, I made an effort to be more mindful of my reactions. I took more time to listen, to understand my partner's perspective, and to respond in a way that fostered communication rather than conflict. Mistakes, when handled with humility and a willingness to learn, can actually strengthen a relationship and build trust. 5. Why should we see relationships? Through the lens of respect. One of the cornerstones of any successful relationship is mutual respect. When we're in love, it's easy to get lost in the emotional intensity and forget the fundamental importance of respecting our partner's needs, boundaries, and feelings. I once found myself in a relationship where I started to overlook the importance of respect. I assumed that because we loved each other, we didn't need to set boundaries or communicate our needs clearly. But I quickly realized that without respect, the relationship was starting to crumble. Respect isn't just about avoiding hurtful actions. It's about actively valuing each other's individuality, feelings, and desires. Respect is the foundation that holds a relationship together. Without it, everything else will eventually fall apart. When you respect your partner, you listen to their concerns without judgment. You validate their feelings and acknowledge their point of view, even if it's different from yours. Setting boundaries and honoring them is also a form of respect. Relationships thrive when both partners feel safe, valued, and understood. If you found inspiration in this video and want to learn more about building healthy, fulfilling relationships, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Also, share your thoughts and personal experiences in the comments below. I would love to hear how you've navigated your own relationship challenges and growth. Remember, any relationship that's built on honesty, respect, and the courage to express your emotions will pave the way for deeper love and connection. So, be brave, follow your heart, and continue to grow in your relationships. There's no better time than now to start building a relationship that's based on truth, understanding, and mutual respect. Let's make love stronger, one honest conversation at a time.